day, mostly. And I usually hit it before admitting guests, but I really appreciate that reminder.
So we're excited. Day 8. After we broke some plates today, hopefully we can put the pieces back together today.
Yesterday, we broke the plates.
Yeah, what
or
did I say
shredded the
today?
paper.
Yeah, shredded the paper and broke the plates yesterday. So we're going to start today with an integration of our first week. And then we have an incredible guest that I had the pleasure to work with and to benefit his wisdom and guidance, Tim Kelley out of Berkeley, California. Are you still in Berkeley?
I am.
Yeah, good. How is the weather, by the way?
It's dried up a bit, but boy, did we get dumped on about 4 or 5 days ago. Bombed. We were bombed by a bomb cyclone.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're drying up and things are good.
My tomatoes seem happy.
And should we go ahead and start?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we could start with a little bit of a recap of the last week.
Yeah.
And then we can pass it over to Kamala to help us do some integration. But definitely we're sleeping better. We're more mindful of our social media.
Or at least we know how to do that.
Right.
Idea.
Right.
So it's
theoretically.
Really that's part of the thing is like, how do we take that from an idea that we learn or that we practice for a minute and then integrate it into our life? Because we want this to be, something that we take and integrate in our day to day, not just an idea that we share here. So any suggestions how we integrate this into our life, Kamala?
Yes, thank you for the segue. I actually prepared something for today. So, thank you. I think I was waiting officially for being invited to speak. So I want to kind of do a practice with all of you. And I would like you to find a comfortable position. I'm going to ring my little bell to indicate that if you want to, you can use that as an opportunity to either close your eyes or lower your gaze. And I want to welcome you to week 2 of reclaiming yourself. And just like last week, I want to invite you to welcome yourself. Welcome yourself to a week of nurturing yourself. And perhaps taking a few deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, releasing any residual tension that may be there. A few deep diaphragmatic breaths, allowing yourself to arrive here. And then allow your breath to flow in its natural rhythm. Settling body and mind. Noticing your breath flowing in and out of your body as your chest is lifting and relaxing. If you'd want to notice your feet on the ground, and sense your body seated. And as this awareness deepens, you might allow for your body to settle into a sense of steadiness, restfulness, yet alertness. Feeling for that sense of welcoming and belonging. Arriving here now. And if your mind wanders, know that that's normal and gently but firmly bring it back to this moment and to your breath. Let's take a few moments to look at what we've learned in week 1. And I'm going to walk you through the lessons of week 1. And as I do that, tune into what it is that you are taking away from each of these pieces. And on day 1, we practice self-compassion together, learning to be on our own sides in this retreat. And just tuning in, is there a takeaway for you? On day 2, we decluttered our minds and found clarity with Nishkam. Just tuning in, what was important about that for you? Is there a takeaway in that for you? On day 3, we learned how to digitally detox with Jenna. What are your takeaways from day 3? Is there anything that you moved forward? On day 4, Brooke taught us how to have better sleep. Was there an insight that was important for you from that presentation? On day 5, Gwen reminded us about the importance of the awareness of our breath. Is there something that you're taking away from that practice? Is there something that you're looking to move forward with in your life? On day 6, Christian introduced us to the theory of everything. Was there a takeaway, an insight in that presentation that touched you? And then yesterday we learned to let go and forgive with Melissa. Is there anything significant for you in letting go? Are there any results that you've noticed from your practice in week 1? And week 1 was about letting go. What have you let go of? What are you continuing to let go of? Now, I'd like you to welcome you to week 2. And our theme for this week is nurturing yourself. And so I want to invite you to set your intentions for week 2. And I'd like you to contemplate the following questions. When you think of nurturing yourself, what are you longing for most? Again, when you think of nurturing yourself, what are you longing for most? And then I'd like to invite you to remember a moment when you felt deeply nurtured. Could have been a good conversation with a friend, a spa treatment, a beautiful meal, a day in nature. What does that feel like to feel deeply nurtured? Connect with that feeling now. What is it like? What is it like to feel deeply nurtured? And then one more question for you. What does resilience mean to you? What does it feel like to be resilient? And if you have something to write with, perhaps that beautiful journal that we've created for you, maybe you want to go to day 8 and perhaps take a few notes on these questions. When you think of nurturing yourself, what are you longing for most? Maybe take a few notes. And Shannon, if you want to get a few breakout rooms ready for us, maybe for groups of 3 or 4.
You got it.
And the second question was, what does it feel like to feel deeply nurtured? And maybe take a few notes on that. And then last not least, what does resilience mean to you? And in a moment, Shannon is going to put you guys in, us all, actually me too, into breakout rooms of maybe 3 or 4 people. And you are going to have 5 minutes to share with each other. And the questions, or what I would want to put in front of you, I already copied in the chat for you. Name the most important result you're taking away from week 1. Secondly, what is an area in your life that you most need nurturing at this time? And third of all, what is it like to feel nurtured? And I put that in the chat for you. So if you get lost in sharing, they are there for you to be reminded. So you have 5 minutes sharing with each other. What are you taking away from week 1? What is an area in your life that most needs nurturing at this time? And 3, what is it like to feel nurtured? All right, Shannon.
All right.
Well, hello. We got you in the breakout room.
I think he's still in the main room, being invited to join.
Oh.
Torah's alone in a breakout room.
Yeah, I declined the invitation.
Got it. Move, Devin, I will move to room 5. And I will move into room 3. What's going on here? Okay.
Shauna is in the
Waiting room.
That's what happened to Gaia the other day.
She got moved?
No, she couldn't move some people.
We'll see. Tim Kelley not joined. Okay. I want to make sure that she.
Just a problem child. What can I say?
No, we have another problem child here. Yeah.
All right.
This one doesn't seem to want to join.
That's okay.
They keep declining.
That's okay.
All right. So, yes. Sorry, Tim, if it wasn't clear. We were starting with Komala and integration, and then 21 minutes to you. But we will definitely.
Yeah, I just didn't know how long her part was. That's all.
Definitely need to
No
hustle
problem.
it over to you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So that would mean I'd start in like 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We're grateful that you're doing this, and
We're grateful for the platform. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah. So I
Gotta
will
keep
share
getting the message out there.
I will share with you that fingers crossed, we'll be closing our seed round of financing probably early next week.
Excellent. That's great.
Yeah. So
Mazel tov in advance.
yeah, exactly. So I really don't want to jinx myself and share ahead of time, but I feel like we're close enough.
Yeah.
We're close enough, and
I won't tell a soul.
And the deal is close enough. How was Revital's talk?
Her thing, yeah, that was interesting. That was fun. There were like 1,500 people or something.
Yeah, incredible.
So awesome.
Yep.
She is just a rock star.
Yep.
She's really so awesome. She's,
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Did you? So when she interviewed me, I didn't really know how many people were on the room. I think they did it like. And I didn't
right, because
realize,
you're on Zoom and they're on something else, so you can't really see it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I didn't even realize until we talked after that it was all in a private Facebook group. I didn't subscribe. I didn't realize it was all in it. Yeah.
Follow the funnel. You
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, I didn't follow the funnel.
I tried to get into the private Facebook group and it was difficult.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That's funny. That's funny.
Well, of course, I
Wow.
was trying to do it without registering. So
so how many people watch live? Do you know?
So she said that they have different, sometimes
yeah,
it's
different amounts or different people,
different
probably
amounts.
a few hundred each time, I
Yeah,
would
so
think.
two to 400, I think. Whenever.
That's what you would expect
That's
with a
pretty awesome.
1,500 registered. So
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So for this program, we have
I have to
about,
take some credit. I helped train that woman to promote.
oh,
So,
she is
she was a
definitely,
translator when I met her. So
I know. And she keeps talking about it. She's, she definitely gives you a lot
yeah,
of credit.
some credit, to be
A
fair.
lot of credit, and I give you credit too. So it's like you're definitely on the credits list. She's really done, and I think the combination between the two of them was great.
Yeah, he's so warm and friendly,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's great.
And curious, and there's something raw about him that is really fun.
Yeah, it doesn't feel all scripted and stuff. That
Yeah.
groaning is Charlie, by the way. This is
I'm
Charlie.
gonna push close because then it gives 60 seconds and that'll be at 5 minutes.
Oh,
So,
great, yeah,
um,
yeah. So I don't know. Did I tell you that? So what do you do? Is that the Conscious Capitalism magazine that you're on? The same.
That's conscious company media you're thinking of. Conscious capitalism is John Mackey and Raj Sisodia, the book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so
whole
I don't
thing?
think they have a magazine, but they have conferences and stuff. So, so I'm now in charge of certifying consultants in conscious capitalism. So,
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
I think this conscious company is what his wife works for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, do you know Tal Ronen?
yeah,
So didn't he do something with them? Maybe a
I don't
different
know.
organization.
Tal Runnin's done everything with everyone. It's hard to know.
That is very true. That is very true. He had done some stuff
And if
with
you
me.
ask him, he'll tell you.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So open all rooms.
They are going to edit this
Need to
recording,
open 'em.
right?
Close them. Oh my goodness. I think I did what Gaia did the first day. We're all going to about to get booted back into the main room.
You
Maybe.
yanked everybody.
I know. Oh my gosh. Zoom.
Here it's closing 47 seconds.
I know.
Well, sometimes people see that it's going to close and they come back early. Did you guys get forced back, or did you decide to come back under your own power?
Well, I'm the breaker and the fixer, so I pushed close in. Everyone's here.
Yeah, because this is funny.
Newbie.
We're Zoom operators in training.
Still ironing out the kinks.
Blushing.
It's good at Matthew's
Vulnerable
blouse now.
moment here. Is this part of the workshop?
Welcome back. I just want to make sure we didn't leave anybody in a break room or something.
No, I think we're
everybody's
okay.
here. Awesome.
Okay.
So, Kromela, did you want it to close, or can we pass it on to Tim?
Yes. Like if you want to, we can put a, work in the chat and then maybe read it later, but I think time probably requires to pass it on to Kelly.
Yeah.
Definitely. So would you like to introduce Tim? You have worked with him personally and are familiar.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So my privilege, I've done work with Tim, just 5 years ago, 4 years ago?
Something like that. I could look it up.
And I consider you a friend and a guide, and very privileged to have him as a guide on Guidely. I think Tim have worked with, go ahead. Shannon does need to take a call, and have worked with country leaders, Fortune 50 leaders, really some influencers across the world, and have wrote a book called True Purpose. Is that true?
That is true.
Purpose. And very dear to me, not just as a guide, but also care a lot about Israel and the conflict in Israel and different conflicts around the world. So I'm really, really privileged to introduce you and host you here today and to share with us about passion and purpose.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are, everybody. I think you have to pin me now or something.
I just did.
Okay, good.
I hope it worked.
Cool. I don't know. Well, can you guys see my face all big now? Okay, good. You did it. Well done. I can't see it. So excellent. Well, welcome everybody. So part of reclaiming yourself, part of really getting a handle on yourself and who you are, is reclaiming your purpose. I know some people who believe that we come into this life with a purpose. I can accept that as a possibility. I'm not certain that's true. It makes a certain amount of sense. Some people believe we come into this life with a purpose and then we forget it. And so part of reclaiming yourself would be picking up the purpose that you came in with, but then forgot about, and when it sort of crawled down into your unconscious. Now you have to go dig it back up again. So we're going to be talking about, for the next 20 minutes or so, is a few key things about purpose. As Amir knows, I could talk about purpose for hours, but they were very smart and only gave me 21 minutes. And so we're going to talk about a little bit about what purpose is, how to find it, why you would want to find it, and then what gets in the way, and how to tell whether you actually know your purpose or not. That's a cool one that a lot of folks leave out. So you're going to walk away with a real life skill, which is if someone says to you, "This is my purpose," you can actually help them test it and see if it's true or not. And if you think you know your purpose or you're not sure, you can figure it out. So I'm going to have to keep moving because that's a lot to pack into that little bit of time there. So let me say that when I say purpose, people throw the word around a lot and they don't generally define it, which I think is a mistake. I'm a mathematician, so I'm like required. There's like rules for mathematicians. We have to define our terms. It's part of being a mathematician. So if I'm going to talk about purpose for 20 minutes, I have to tell you what I mean when I say purpose. And so for me, purpose is the answer to the question why. That's what purpose is. And that could be a little purpose, like why did you come to this call tonight, or why did you sign up for this week-long thing, right? That would this 2-week thing. That would be a little purpose. The big purpose is like, why am I here? Or why is anybody here? Right? That would be a big one. And I often answer that big question in the context of organizations and even sometimes countries. Like, why are we XYZ company here? We know what we do, but why do we do it, right? It's actually a very important question for a company to answer too. And it's very, very good for a company and good for the world if more for-profit companies would answer that question well. But today we're talking about you. So we're going to stick to why are you here on this planet? And that breaks down to roughly who are you meant to be and what are you meant to do? Who are you meant to be and what are you meant to do? So why would you want to know the answers to those questions? Well, the truth is that most people go through their lives without ever answering those questions. And many people live happy lives despite that. So some people say, oh, you have to know your purpose in order to be happy. I don't think that's true. I think there are lots of happy people out there who don't know their purpose. So why would you want to know your purpose? If we had an hour, I'd ask you, we'd take some shares, but I'm going to suggest some common answers because I've asked this question of a lot of people. So often when people undergo transitions in their life, when they're feeling like maybe your kids leave home, or you're getting ready to retire, or you get diagnosed with a disease, or you get married or divorced or something like that, often life transitions raise this question, these questions of meaning. And so those kinds of things cause people to focus more on purpose and try to answer these questions. So that's one reason why people want to find their purpose. Another reason why people want to find their purpose is they just want to live a more happy and more fulfilling life. And they think it will help. And often it does. Usually it does. And another fairly common reason that I don't see a lot of people acknowledge is that some people are just growth and development junkies, right? Raise your hand out there, you growth and development junkies. Hands up, come on, right? And if someone said, hey, guess what? I could help you find your higher purpose in life and figure out why you're here. The growth and development junkie says, yeah, where do I sign? Right? There doesn't have to be anything wrong to want to find your purpose in life. What a great tool for growth and development, right? And the last reason is some people feel a personal responsibility to change the world. Raise your hand if you're a change agent. You know you were sent to fix the world. Come on, hands up. You know who you are. Good. Well, if you get your purpose really accurate, it gives you instructions about how you are supposed to change the world, which is different than how I'm supposed to change the world. And if you're a change agent, that's a pretty useful piece of information. Just briefly, I'll say that the research says that people who know their purpose live longer, are less likely to get Alzheimer's, heart disease, have better sex, earn more money, and I would add to that, not research-based, age slower. People who are purpose-driven look younger on average, at least the ones I know. So if you could package that and sell it as a vitamin, you'd make a lot of money. But it's actually cheaper, right? Once you know your purpose, you don't have to pay anybody, it's yours. So how do you find it? Let's assume that's interesting to you. How do you find your purpose? The typical method is you go looking through your history for clues. And often a book or a coach or a workshop will have you answer a whole bunch of questions. Raise your hand if you've done this exercise, right? And it's like, okay, if you only had a year to live, and if you had lots of money and didn't have to work, and what's the most time you felt most passionate, these kinds of questions. And the answers contain clues to your purpose. And there's lots of variations on this exercise, but it's always essentially the same. Answer a whole bunch of questions and go sifting through the answers looking for patterns. That's the most common method. The method I like to use is different. I assume the purpose is already there and it's unconscious. So if we go into your unconscious, we ought to be able to just find it. And the way we do that is finding something in your unconscious that knows what it is and asking it what your purpose is. And then it answers and tells you, and then you know. And I find that a much more entertaining method and also way more accurate because you're actually being informed specifically what the purpose is rather than trying to figure it out or reverse engineer it. And that could be something like your heart or your intuition or your higher self or something like that. And then depending on your belief systems, it could be a wide variety of things. But basically, it's an interview with you as the interviewer asking the question and something else answering and telling you the answer. Now, why doesn't everyone already know their purpose? The reason's simple. It's fear. How many of you can feel that if I handed you a piece of paper right now with your purpose on it, you would hesitate to open it up and look at it? Raise your hand if you can feel some part of you at least that would go, ooh, right? Over 99% of people have at least one concern about learning their purpose. The less common one, by the way, is limiting beliefs, but usually it's fears. Like if someone had a limiting belief that there's no such thing as a purpose, that would prevent you from learning your purpose, right? Or even a limiting belief that I don't deserve a purpose, that would be enough. But more frequently it's, oh no, if I found my purpose, then X bad thing might happen. I might have to move to Namibia to feed starving children, or I might have to quit my job, or my spouse might not like me anymore, might ruin my reputation, something like that, some other need that will go unfulfilled, some other problem that will be created if I figure out what my purpose is and actually try to do something with it. So if you're going to use these more advanced methods to get your unconscious to directly tell you what your purpose is, unless you're a very rare person, the number now is, I think, 37 people who didn't have to deal with fears first, and that's out of many thousands. So it's way less than 1%. Everybody else, me included, has to deal with fears first. So you deal with the fears, and then you have to learn how to converse with something in your unconscious that will then explain your purpose to you. And it's useful to know the right questions to ask too. So how do you tell if you've succeeded? What are the clues? So how many of you think you might know your purpose? Anybody out there think, well, maybe, right? Maybe I know my purpose, okay. Okay, now you're going to find out how to tell. And this works for everybody, and it'll work for the rest of your life. So if you find it later, you can go, oh, I remember that guy Tim told me how to tell if this is it. Let me check, right? So the test is you say it out loud. Now you can just say it out loud by yourself, right? But if you want to get a better read, say it out loud into a mirror or say it out loud to another human being, right? Just say, my purpose is to blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Good. I see someone's doing it right now. No time like the present. Well done. Come on. So you just say it out loud and then notice your physical and emotional reaction. Not your thoughts, not I like it, I don't like it, it's true, it's not true. Those are thoughts. Physical reactions, heat, pain, lightness, those are physical reactions. Anger, fear, sadness, joy, those are emotions, right? If you have strong physical and emotional reactions, that's your purpose. If you have weak ones or no physical and emotional reactions, it's not your purpose. You're wrong. Now, here's the trick. If the reactions are strong, they might be strong and positive, or they might be strong and negative. It doesn't matter. If you say your purpose out loud and you're terrified, it's your purpose. If you say your purpose out loud and you suddenly feel like, oh my God, that's the most arrogant thing anyone has ever said. I could never say that to another human being. I want to crawl under the table. That was your purpose. Right? So all that matters is the reaction is strong. It doesn't matter. It may matter to you, but in terms of accuracy, it doesn't matter whether the reaction is positive or negative. So just do that. And then here's a little tip with that one, which is over time, the strength of the reaction will fade. So if it's been more than a couple of years since you found your purpose, when you say it out loud now, it probably doesn't feel the same as when you first found it. The thrill is gone. Well, I'm not saying it is for you, Amir. I don't know. That's up to you. But purpose statements tend to degrade in potency over time, which means you have to refresh it. You have to renew it. You have to go back to the drawing board and update it. Now, you may believe that your purpose never changes over your life. That may be true, but that doesn't mean your purpose statements couldn't change, because that's trying to put your purpose into language, which is an inexact science. So even if you believe your purpose isn't changing, you might need to still find a better way to say it, if that makes sense. Some people believe their purpose does evolve, some don't. So the idea here is you would go on this quest, you would find your purpose, and then you would test it by saying it out loud and seeing what kind of reaction you have. Notice whether it's accurate or not. And then either, oops, that didn't get much of a reaction, I got to figure it out more, or, ooh, wow, that was a really strong reaction, I'm good. Now, here's the last really important trick, which is then you have to do something about it. And it could be really little, or it could be really big. I recommend starting little. People get very intimidated by their purpose and they think, oh no, I can't do that. And then they don't do anything. You're way better off if you find some simple little tiny way to manifest your purpose in a very, very mundane sense, just some little thing. So my purpose, the one I first found was to show people the way or show people their path, which turned into a book called True Purpose and Finding the Higher Purpose of Countries and Organizations. But that's not what I did first. A really good first step, and something I do very well, is to give people driving directions. That is absolutely showing people the way and showing people their path. I'm actually a level 3 Waze map editor, right? So it doesn't have to be the be all end all change the world purpose activity. Any version of that purpose activity would be a good idea. So find something to do, something you're willing to do, something you can get yourself to do, and do it. And then the next day, do it again. And the next day, do it again, even if it's a tiny thing every day. Because what will happen is over time, your willingness to do bigger things will slowly grow. And then after a few years, you'll be finding the purposes of countries and stuff like that, right? That didn't happen right away. That was like 10 years in. So give yourself a break, take it easy, do it one step at a time, right? Let me just check. I think I covered everything I told you I would cover. I just want to make sure that's true. Yeah, I do want to say one other thing about knowing your purpose. It's possible actually to live your purpose without knowing what it is. It's much harder. But here's how you can use your purpose even if you can't put it into words. I can ask an audience of people, like, what percentage are you on or off purpose in your life right now? And pretty much anyone can tell right away. They can go, meh, I don't know, 70, 80%, or 10 or 20%. I'm miserable, right? Even not knowing what their purpose is, people know whether they're living their purpose or not. It's just much easier to live it deliberately if you know what it is, because then you can go seek it out. If you don't know what it is, you're kind of relying on trial and error or accident to get you on purpose and keep you there. So just think about it right now. How close to being on purpose are you right now? Think about it. You can put it in the chat. Like, what's your self-assessment of how on purpose you are right now? And another interesting question that people take for granted is, how on purpose do you want to be? Because it might not be 100%. It might be less than that. That's okay. There's no law that says that you have to be 100% on purpose, or that you have to want to be 100% on purpose. Be honest with yourself. So if you're 40% on purpose and that sounds good to you, you're good to go. If you're 60% on purpose and you want to be 90% on purpose, now you have some work to do. Right? So notice what those two things are, because that tells you whether this is just a nice talk that you're listening to, or this is a problem you need to solve, something you need to do something about. Right? And that's totally personal and totally up to you. Good. There we go. We got some good stuff here. Excellent. Well, I hope this was illuminating and illustrating for you. I hope you feel just a hair more purposeful. Maybe you're like 72% now when you were 70% at the beginning. And if you want to find your purpose and you want to live your purpose, I hope you succeed at that. And if not, I hope you're honest with yourself about that and spare yourself all sorts of unnecessary effort.
So this is incredible. If anybody here is confused, then that's a good first step, right? I mean, when I heard Tim the first hour, I got confused. And am I on purpose? Am I not? And I don't know if everybody here in the room knows Guidely's tagline, but Guidely's tagline is "Never walk alone." And that tagline is an abstraction of the 4 purpose statements that I created with Tim in my work. So it's literally taken out of my purpose work into Guidely's tagline and mission, to make sure that people on their personal development, spiritual transformation path never feel that they walk alone.
Good. And this is he's modeling something for you right now, right? Which is to take your purpose to work. You know, that take your daughter to work thing. Take your purpose to work. You don't have to.
My
it's
daughter,
a good idea.
My daughter is here.
Your daughter's here. Hi, Gaia. Shalom.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Really awesome and fun. I know you had a crazy busy week, so I appreciate you making the time for us.
Absolutely, wouldn't miss it.
And I encourage everybody to take one word and either drop it in the chat or later keep it for the end, where we'll integrate that. As usual, we'll send the recording tomorrow with an invite. Shannon had to take a call and left me here with
this Zoom thing.
This Zoom thing where I need to be able to say what's happening tomorrow, and I don't know what to say what's happening tomorrow. So it will be a surprise, but I hope you can all join me tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have a great second week, everybody. Reclaiming yourself.
Awesome. 2 out of 3. It's really awesome.
And I just want to say there's some incredible words here in the chat.
Passion, inspired,
75%, 85%. Thanks, Tim. Tim, you're awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Passion, inspired, grateful, ready. Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you, Carmela, for the help with that. Really appreciate everybody. Let's get off mute and say good night and thank you. Hi, everybody.
Thanks, Tim.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Welcome. Thanks for coming. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.